Welcome to StonerCast, your official deep dive into Columbus Clingstones baseball. As the AA affiliate of the Atlanta Braves, the Clingstones are building the future of baseball in the A, and we're here to bring you closer to it all. Get the inside look at what makes this team and this community so special. This is StonerCast. Here's your hosts, Ricky and Dave.
Hey y'all, welcome into StonerCast. I am so glad you joined us. Let's introduce my co-host, my good friend, my pal, the nicest guy from Pell City, Alabama, the one and only Dave Norris. What's up, Dave?
Hey, Ricky, what's up, man? I can't believe we've made it to this many episodes already. It's been a great time and can't wait to get into the 2026 season, but really can't wait to get into these prospects that we're going to talk about today.
That's right. Yo, this is the last episode of season 1. We'll be back for season 2 with our StonerCast live episode. We'll be doing the roster reveal for the Clingstones for the 2026 season. We'll be live from Synovus Park, and man, I am so pumped for that. That's going to be happening here pretty soon. You guys just pay attention to our social media channels, so you'll be in the loop and you'll know when we're there. So, but man, it's been a great season 1. 19 episodes. This is episode 19. We've had players. We've had family members of players. We had general manager Pete Lavin kick things off. We've had the chef from Synovus Park. It's been a tremendous season, and we are so thankful that each and every one of our guests were generous and gracious with their time and you know, got on with us and talked shop with everything regarding the Clingstones. So, man, it's been a great season 1, and season 2, we've got some crazy stuff in store for you guys. So, this episode, our 2026 season preview. What we're going to do is we're going to run down some guys we expect to see in Columbus at some point during the 2026 season. Then we're going to talk to you about some of the guys that'll return, some guys you know that you're familiar with. Several of them have even been on right here on StonerCast with us. So, you know, now's a great time to kick back, relax, pop some popcorn, pull YouTube up on your TV, check this episode out, and we hope you guys enjoy it. We put a ton of work into creating kind of the analysis of each of these players. So, you know, we're going to throw it to Dave. First, he's going to start off with his prospect. You know, I hope you guys enjoy. All right, Dave, who do you have for us?
Man, I'm going to start with shortstop John Hill. Spells his last name Gil, but it's pronounced Hill. But he's a shortstop that does it all, man. He hits for average. He steals bases, makes routine plays look, routine. He's just 19 years old, but he's a quiet leader that's already brought energy to the Clingstones late last year. A few of his stats, you know, he hit 248, had a 319 slugging percentage, a 387 on base percentage, 14 home runs, 39 stolen bases, 61 runs scored, and 64 RBIs. He's a contact hitter, like I said. He's fast, good defensively, has very good range, can probably play just about anywhere in the infield, and his power is starting to emerge. Played every day despite his youth through the minor leagues. When he got to Columbus, I think he only had a few starts. He's a quiet leader with a strong work ethic. He leads by performance, and he's going to be a great addition to Columbus.
I think so, and I know a lot of the scouts are really high on him. So, that's John Hill, everybody. You know, I went with a guy it's kind of a layup. We're going to go with Alex Lodis. Alex was the Braves' second pick in last year's 2025 draft. Out of FSU, he has the college level experience, and the Braves have to get a guy ready to play shortstop really soon. With Hassan Kim signing just a 1-year deal a few weeks ago, Lodis was, you know, kind of pushed in. They thought he was good enough to sent him straight to Rome. And he finished the season with a 252 batting average, which is pretty good for a kid coming fresh out of college. The MLB experts kind of have a projected big league ETA of 2028. So I expect to see him in a Clingstones uniform this season. If not on opening day, I think we may see him before the end of the first half.
Right. Well, my next guy is Isaiah Drake. He's a 20-year-old outfielder who covers the outfield like he owns it and has base running speed that can turn singles into doubles, doubles into triples. He's calm, he's dependable, and hustling on every play. Pitchers are absolutely going to hate this guy in Double-A.
Yeah, for sure. And he, again, another one that scouts seem to be very high on. Everybody that knows me knows I love pitching, right? So I've got to introduce this next guy to Clingstones Nation. This guy is a first-round draft pick, straight out of high school, none other than Braves' #1 rated prospect, Cam Caminiti. Cam, first-round pick in 2024, the 24th pick overall. He's the overall top prospect in the Braves organization. He joined J.R. Ritchie as the only Brave to make the MLB's top 100 prospects, with Caminiti ranked 72 and our friend J.R. Ritchie down at 86. How does a 19-year-old get that much acclaim, right? Well, throws a fastball that tops out at 98 miles per hour, mixes it in with an above-average slider and changeup, and he has a curveball, the pitch that Caminiti actually feels is his best. The MLB experts have not really ranked that curveball as his best pitch, but Caminiti himself is confident in that pitch, and that's huge for a pitcher, right? The development plan from the Braves were for him to develop his slider, focus on command, locating his fastball, and to pitch deeper into games. By the time the 2025 season ended, he was throwing 75 to 85 pitches per game and an incredible 11.98 Ks per 9 inning, throwing essentially 2 pitches, just that slider and fastball. So, his ETA in Atlanta is 2028. I think 2026 is probably a good time to get him up out of Augusta into Rome maybe, and then on to Columbus. So really excited about seeing this kid. Hopefully we'll see him this season. I'm ready to see him get to Columbus and pull that curveball that he loves so much out of his bag. We'll see what it does with some of these Southern League hitters, right?
Absolutely. Well, my next guy is another positional player, third baseman Cody Miller. He plays third base, but he's a versatile infielder who has gap power with a high baseball IQ that raises the level of everyone around him. He's really energetic and competitive, and he's the type of player who makes the infield better every day. Some of his stuff, he's 21 years old. He's got a smooth transition from dominating college ball to producing at 2 pro levels, which is big news. He has the tools and approach to project as a middle infield third base impact bat, even if he's still ironing out the strike zone decisions. He hit 297 with a 357 slugging percentage and 422 on base percentage in Rome, and he hit 372 with 412 and 488 in Augusta. Strikeout rate rose, but overall strong offensive performance and early in his pro career.
Awesome. Well, again, he's a guy that, kind of a later pick, round 3 pick out of East Tennessee State, but again, making a name for himself. Scouts seem to love him as well. I'm going to stick with the pitchers again, and I'm going to go with our pal, the guy you just saw last week on StonerCast. I hope you enjoyed that interview, listening to it as much as Dave and I did hosting it. Owen Murphy, man, this kid is unbelievable as a pitcher and as a human being, right? He is excited about getting to Columbus, and I think 2026 is going to be that year. very highly thought of in the Braves organization. Right-handed pitcher. Braves took him with the 20th overall pick in the 2022 draft. As we discussed in his episode, Tommy John surgery came, kind of delayed his movement up the ladder in the Braves minor league system. But he returned to action late in the 2025 season with high Rome. He was able to get 6 starts under his belt with the Emperors, and he lived up to every bit of hype that he garnered in the 2022 draft, coming off an injury that is career-ending for some pitchers. He posted 3 wins with a career-low ERA of 1.32. Scouts rate his low 90s fastball and 80s cutting slider at above average, with its control grading out at average. So, again, this guy, if you listened to it last week, you probably joined Dave and I in that group of fans that are really hoping we see Owen Murphy wearing that peach on peach this year, right?
Absolutely. My next guy is somebody that I want to let Columbus know about. We probably won't see him in 26, but we'll probably see him in 27, mid to late in the season. But his name is Diego Torrens. He's an international prospect outfielder. He's 17 years old. Very excited about him. He's a 5-tool outfielder with elite speed, raw power, and having already finished with strong potential in the Dominican Summer League this past year. Very coachable and competitive. He's a future impact player you'll be hearing about for years. Diego is a long-term future prospect with tools that could top out as a 5-tool player, as I said. Still a couple of years away from AA probably, but a name to watch as he climbs the system. In the Dominican Summer League, he had a stat line of 279, 395, and 402, had 24 stolen bases. His plate approach, he has a strong walk rate for his age and in the league. Suggests a good strike zone feel. His defensive potential, his tools are fit for future corner or center field profiles, and he's a switch hitting bat. Looking really forward to seeing Diego move up through the system. This guy's going to be really good. They're saying he's kind of the second coming of Ronald Acuna.
Right. And, hey, those are huge, huge shoes to fill. So hopefully he can actually step his feet in there and play. So one note before I get to my next guy, I found it pretty interesting that both Columbus and Gwinnett, between the two teams, there are only 2 left-handed pitchers, and both are rostered to Gwinnett. So you heard that right. Columbus, at the end of the season, had no left-handed pitchers.
Right.
But at High Rome and Low A Augusta, there are 10 lefties, 5 on each club, including 4 Braves top 30 guys. Cam Caminiti, Landon, and I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name, Beidelshees maybe. Carter Holton is at Augusta, and then Herrick Hernandez at Rome.
Mm-hmm.
You got to think the Braves are going to be looking to add some lefties to the Columbus and Gwinnett roster so they can go ahead and fast track them to Atlanta. Let's go ahead and talk about Herrick Hernandez. Herrick is he's kind of a flamethrower. Number 18 prospect, 4th round pick of the Braves in the 2024 draft. His ETA in Atlanta is 2027. So being at Rome, he's, the logical next step is Columbus. And to get to Columbus as a left-handed pitcher, he's got to show some dominance. He finished up this past season with 21 starts, 3.57 ERA, struck out 127 batters. That's pretty key. That's an average of 6 strikeouts a game. He's got 4 pitches in his arsenal. Fastball, the tops out at 95, a low 80 slider, upper 70s curveball, and a changeup. So he's tapped as a guy that can start or be an innings eater from the bullpen when he gets to the big league. So with the bullpen issues Atlanta has had, look for guys like Hernandez to be fast-tracked in this farm system, meaning there's a really good chance we'll see him here in peace during the 2026 season.
That's right.
All right, y'all. those are our prospects. Those are the guys that we think we will see in Columbus this season as they get on their way to AAA and then obviously to the big team, the big league club. Dave, man, my tongue is like tying itself up in my mouth while I'm trying to talk today.
Mine too.
Now we're gonna give you some guys, some names that you know, some guys that you watch play at Synovus Park this past season. Like I said earlier, a couple of these guys we've had on the podcast, and they've had great episodes. Once this season ends and we have a little break before season 2, that's a great time to go back and listen to some of these names you're going to hear. Listen to some of their interviews. I believe we've had some really solid interviews from each guy. So,
Absolutely.
Well, that being said, I'm going to start this round off. Anybody that knows me, anybody that's been at the park with me knows that I'm a huge fan of this guy. The Adam Zabrowski. Man, as a catcher, Adam, you're not going to find a guy that's more reliable, more durable, I think, than Adam Zabrowski. He was promoted to AAA at the end of last season. I fully expect Chadwick Tromp, Sandy Leon, Archer Berkman, who was a Rule 5 draftee, to be on Gwinnett's roster. So I feel like Adam will be back with Columbus. He may not start the season with Columbus due to Sean Murphy, the Braves catcher, rehabbing an injury. So, look for him to be here. He's not going down, that's for sure. Not with his bat, not with his reliability, his durability. And overall, he's like Dave. He's just a really nice guy, right?
So until he puts on that catcher's mask and uniform, and then he becomes a baseball player.
Listening to some of our interviews, Adam's got a side to him that his teammates see that would be interesting to kick back and watch some like hidden cam footage of him cutting up in the locker room, because he's apparently quite the jokester.
That too.
But Adam Zabrowski, y'all, our man behind the plate.
My next guy is a fellow by the name of Ambioris Tavares, and I hope I pronounced that first name right. But he's a guy that absolutely could see Columbus again in 2026 if his bat continues to mature. The tools are there. It's about the consistency and tightening the approach. But he's a really solid player, really, really good in the infield too. He had a short stint in Columbus late last year, and he did really well in the infield. So I'm really looking for him to return to Columbus this year, at least at some point, if it's not at the beginning of the season.
For sure. Well, the next name I'm going to throw up, all of you guys know, obviously. If you are a Clingstones fan, you know who this guy is. Number 7, Ethan Workinger, our guy.
No.
Huge bat, huge clutch player for the Clingstones last season. Him still being in AA, in my opinion, is a byproduct of a logjam when it comes to good quality outfielders in the Braves organization. The Braves have drafted outfielders well. They've developed outfielders well. And, I hate to say it, I can see Ethan maybe being promoted this coming season or dangled as trade bait by Alex Anthopoulos. As we've all witnessed, he's capable of getting up to the plate and sending one to the moon, right? Serviceable outfielder. Defense is good. But with Carlos Rodriguez electing free agency this season and signing with the Padres, I could see work being brought to Gwinnett on opening day. But I think my honest opinion, I believe he's going to start with us here in Columbus, and then take that jump. The Braves have acquired some outfielders during the offseason, and I would assume they'll start off at AAA. But Workinger's going to be in Columbus, I think, to start the season, and enjoy him while you can, because I don't see him hanging around long, especially if that bat is still hot from last season. I could see the Braves using him as a prospect to maybe try to go get some other positions, pitching, relief pitching in the big league club. So Ethan Workinger, ladies and gentlemen, a man that needed no introduction, right?
Right. Man, I'm a big fan of his too, man. That one game he had where he almost hit for the home run cycle. That's
right.
I wanted him to get that so bad.
He did hit for the home run cycle.
But the umpire saw something we didn't.
Here's looking at you, Eric Murray.
I'm going to bring up another fan favorite, a fellow by the name of Geraldo Quintero.
Who doesn't love GQ, right?
Yeah, we know him as GQ. Great nickname for him. His calling card is his defense and versatility, but we've all seen that he's got some pop to his bat. Surprisingly, he's not a big guy, but he's got a smooth swing, and when he gets that right pitch, he can absolutely drill it. But his defense and versatility alone keep him a candidate for staying right here in Columbus AA. If the offense even takes another step forward, he's an easy return candidate. And that alone will keep him in the AA conversation.
For sure. And again, like I said, fan favorite. Everybody just loves him. He was such a tremendous asset for the Clingstones last year. On the field, at the plate, and then after games on that wall, talking to the kids, signing autographs. Folks.
Oh, man, he was one of the biggest ones you saw over there with the kids, and he hung out for a long time.
Right. Well, another guy, another StonerCast alum. I'm going to be talking a guy that I really shouldn't even be talking about. Him being on this list of guys that will return to Columbus is baffling to me. He's a guy that should have gotten a call last year, in my opinion. Landon Harper. I expect him to open the season with the Clingstones, but I don't expect to see him staying very long, right?
Me either.
He's been so dependable. With the Clingstones last season, he was that guy that you just knew when he was scheduled to pitch, you're probably getting a dub that day, right? I could see him being here, especially if Richie, Braun, or Burkhalter end up getting the call up to Atlanta. Richie is that asterisk there. I really think that he may break camp as a Braves rotation guy, if not bullpen. So Landon, I definitely see him being here in Columbus, but not being here very long. If Richie goes, if Burkhalter goes, I could see Landon being the first guy out of Columbus this year.
Yeah, I'd have to say he's got to be one of the top guys that they're looking at to move up, because like you were saying earlier, we need some lefties in the rotation in Columbus. So I think in between he and another guy that I believe you're going to talk about, those are going to be the two top righties that get moved up to make room for some lefties.
All right.
Our
list, and I'm seeing this next guy, and I light up and I smile when I see his name, that this guy that you're fisting to cover. And awesome guy. Another StonerCast alumni. Go ahead, Dave.
Absolutely. He's one of my favorite players on the team, man. Super friendly guy and a fantastic outfielder. This guy's got moves like Willie Mays out there, and that's not even a joke. Kevin Kilpatrick, man, he brings speed, outfield prowess, and experience. And in AA is often where guys like him either cement their value or make the next jump. A return to Columbus wouldn't surprise me at all. And if he can get that bat going, it would not surprise me a bit to see him jump to, about mid to late season up to Gwinnett.
Yeah, I mean, he's the perfect mix of outfielder, and he struggled at the plate last season. We talked about this on our episode. He struggled offensively, but he made the most out of every trip he had when he got on base, right? He was stealing bases, playing with pitchers' heads in his leads, and you can't not help but root for Kevin Kilpatrick, right? Just super, super guy. And a huge fan favorite, probably the fan favorite from last season.
Absolutely.
All right, y'all. It's time to talk a guy again that you're all going to know and love. A guy that another pitcher that we had last year that you kind of knew he was going to be on the mound and dominant anytime you saw his name on the lineup. So this picture straight from the Clingstones, this was him making the All-Star team last year. Ian Mejia. Ian's, barring him being included in a trade package, I think he's going to go to AAA next season, but I think he's going to start with us just again because of the logjam of pitchers. I feel like with Landon Harper, I feel like Ian probably should have played more games at the AAA level last year than he did the AA level. But hey, as a Clingstones fan, I'm kind of glad that the Braves let him hang around with us for a little while. So, again, trade bait. I'm going to throw that out here. Alex Anthopoulos is known for packaging prospects up to go get a guy. He doesn't give away the farm, but he is one of those guys that I feel like could get the call to be on the trade block. Ian was in the Rule 5 draft this year. He did not get picked up. Rule 5 draft is incredibly complex to explain. It's difficult to explain. So I'll let you guys look that up, but he could have been taken away last year by any club that would give him an automatic promotion to the big league club. So, again, thankful that he's still part of the Braves system and a guy that we'll see in Synovus Park this season, at least for a few minutes.
Absolutely. And he was one of my favorites last year because of the poise he always showed on the mound. He'd get 2 runners on with no outs, and I mean, he was not rattled. I mean, there were so many times he'd get 1 or 2 runners on, and then bam, 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 3 strikeouts or 2 ground outs and a strikeout. The guy is just absolutely poised, and he doesn't get rattled. And I like his motion that he uses to calm himself down. That's kind of the Clayton Kershaw move where he raises his hands up, takes a deep breath, and that's when he's ready. My next guy that I think might return to Columbus is going to be outfielder Patrick Clohesi. He is one of those grinders the organization trusts. If there's unfinished business offensively, Columbus makes a lot of sense for him to return. He played in the Arizona Fall League this year, did pretty well there. And the guy is deceivingly fast, and he was a really good leadoff hitter when he got to Columbus last year, which I think we kind of struggled at the leadoff spot. But when he came in, that was during the time period when there was a trade was made that brought Jim Jarvis to Columbus, and there was a little bit of a shakeup right at the second half of the season. And, he was a catalyst into the success that the Clingstones started getting in the second half. Great leadoff hitter, lots of speed, good defensively. Really excited to see him, and I think he's going to return and be with Columbus at least for a little while.
Right. And I hope he does. Super fast. Unbelievably asked Kevin about racing, and Ohisi is one that might make him shake a little in his boots. So, that kind of completes our list. We do have 2 names. Each of us have 1 name that we also want to discuss. I'm going to call these guys wild cards, right? And again, if you know me, I mean, look behind me, right up here. There's a guy that I really, really loved being in Columbus last season. The Lucas Braun, right? He's wearing the only jersey of his that I did not get for my wall. He loved that jersey enough that he asked me not to bid on the Star Wars jersey so he could buy it. So Lucas is a guy he was promoted to AAA last season. Towards the end of the season, he got a couple of starts under his belt there, performed really well at the AAA level, and I didn't expect anything different out of him. He's a guy that really, as the second half started, Lucas made some minor adjustments, and he just became dominant. He was a great pitcher all season long. had a little trouble giving up the long ball. Just randomly during starts, you get a guy in a good set, a good count, and guy just hits a nuke. He made some adjustments to that and figured some things out why it was happening and fixed it. So, Lucas it's hard with daily leading into spring training. You're wondering, who are the Braves going to sign? Are they going to bring another pitcher in? They bring too many more guys in at AAA. I could see Lucas being, down here in Columbus with us to start the season. If they kind of stay pat where they're at, I think Lucas has a chance at camp to solidify his spot on Gwinnett's roster. Everybody in the Braves organization loves him. Fans in Columbus love him. I think the Gwinnett fans really started to love him. So, I'm stoked for Lucas to see him make that jump and start preparing himself now to take the mound on Synovus Park. But I hope we get to see him for at least a start down here next season.
Absolutely. And, my next guy is the one and only EJ Exposito. We affectionately called him Expo. I think he's probably heard that his whole life. Expo's versatility and athleticism give him a roster value. And AA is a proving ground for guys like him. A return could be about sharpening consistency across the board. He's a good hitter, hit a few home runs for Columbus last year. I think, in AA Southern League, like we've talked about many times before, it's a pitcher's league. So, hitters, they come up here and it's a big jump from what they were hitting in single A.
Dave, hang on though. You gotta put a little respect on it. You said he hit some home runs.
Mm-hmm.
He hit some slammies, man.
Oh yeah, he did, man. He hit some bombs. He's got a strong bat and he's really good in the infield too. So, I do kind of expect to see him back in Columbus this year. With the shortstop, second baseman, we need a third baseman more than anything. We've got a lot of people in the shortstop, second base area over there. He's not a first baseman, but he can play third. But I think he prefers to be in shortstop or second base and prefers second more than anything. But I do see Expo coming back to Columbus and being here for a little while. He may get the call up to AAA. I think we'll probably see that bat improve a little bit because he got a good handle on Southern League pitching. He played here all year. So, and I know he's been working out in the off season. He's been training pretty good. So, I expect to see Expo coming back and seeing him doing well.
All right. All right, y'all, that's it. That's it for our 2026 season preview. I do want to take just a moment to kind of give you guys a idea of what's going to happen in season 2 with StonerCast. Season 2 is going to start when the season starts for the Clingstones. We're going to start with that roster reveal show. That'll be about a week before the Clingstones start. Mm-hmm. And then we'll get into doing episodes. Dave and I, at this point, don't really know exactly what it's going to look like yet. With it being in season, it's going to make recording kind of tough. But I think we're going to check in with some episodes. We'll do some recaps of what's happening with the Clingstones at that point in time, coming off road trips or coming off a homestand. What their record is, what the record in the Southern League or the standings in the Southern League looks like, and hopefully towards the end of season 2, we'll be able to start shaping up a playoff race and some special postseason episodes watching our guys, challenge for the Southern League. Hopefully. Fingers crossed, right?
Fingers crossed.
Dave is going to be making that trip from Pell City several times this year as a season ticket holder. He's there in 205, right there with me and the Wilkins, Chuck Williams, the mayor, Eric Murray. Our 205 section is very near and dear to me, and I can't wait to be back with all those guys. But we're not going to leave our listeners hanging either. We're going to continue to bring you great episodes. We're going to continue bringing you a lot of behind-the-scenes information. Dave and I will be credentialed members of the media with the Clingstones organization this season. So we'll be able to get some in-depth and behind-the-scenes stuff that, you may not see sitting in the stands there at Synovus Park. So I think the 2026 season 2 of StonerCast are going to be amazing. I cannot wait to kick it off with that live episode, that live roster reveal episode. So, Dave, man, thanks for a great season 1.
Yeah, man, it's been a lot of fun. And look, as an incoming 205 bleacher creature, I personally want to challenge some of the other sections to get as loud as we're going to be, because we're going to be loud. We're going to be a little obnoxious. We're not going to be over the top, mean to people, but we're going to be throwing out some heckles to the opponents out there. And we want to challenge, people in 204, 206, and just all around the stadium. Where if you got season tickets, man, you guys join in, because if you've watched the episodes that we've already done with some of the players, man, they really enjoy the energy that we bring to the stadium. We've had them say that it feels like how it was when they were in college baseball. The fans get rowdy, they get loud, and it's a lot of fun. So those guys, they really enjoy the fan engagement. So, want to challenge these other sections to get as loud as we're going to be.
And I think they'll bring it. There's no question Synovus Park is going to be full of energy next season. And, we're counting down the days. As of the day that this episode will air, the day this season preview hits will be 56 days to opening day. So
that's right.
This episode should hit on February 6th. So anyway, hey, that's a wrap on season 1. We are already excited for season 2, already in the planning stages, and we can't wait to see you right here on StonerCast. As always, look down there, like, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend, tell an enemy to tell an enemy, tell your cousin to tell your other cousin. We are here. We're bringing you every bit of behind-the-scenes content you could ever want. And if you have some show suggestions, if you have some areas that we've not covered that you'd like to see in season 2, shoot us a message on one of our social pages. Shoot us an email to thestonercastshow@gmail.com. Also, check out our website, www.stonercastshow.com. You can find our latest episodes there. And over the course of the next season, we're going to start adding some different things to that website. So we're going to close it out the only way we know how to close it. Right, Dave? Let's go Stones.
Go Stones.
Thanks for tuning in to StonerCast, your inside look into Columbus Clingstones baseball. Please like, subscribe, and share to stay connected as we bring you closer to the Stones.